We are back once again for another OpenClaw stream. Hello everyone, welcome back to Scripts Warehouse. My name is Brogan. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. Good evening, depending where you are in the world. Let's start this timer. I am not here today, Danny. Okay. There we go. Hopefully you're all doing well. Let me go on to the chat. Say good evening to you guys. Bitcoin Buy, hello. Han, Danish, XXX, Wishware. Thank you all for joining the stream. The content I want to go through today, I don't have a sidebar or anything on this stream. I want to keep it as light as possible. We see I have added a timer to the bottom right to make sure I keep it pretty much on time. Last stream, what we went through was the initial setup of Clawbot, or OpenClaw as it is now. We went through the CLI, kind of the process of setting it up on a new machine. Currently running a Ubuntu virtual machine right now just to make sure it's kind of sandbox for my main machine. Also, it's just a bit easier to run it on a Linux machine. Also went through how to kind of go about using it in a kind of a wise way, if you will, a mature way. There's a lot of people who are, running out and buying their Mac Minis and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, we went through the idea that you could just get a server, a VPS or whatever it may be you want to get. You don't have to get the Mac Mini. Obviously, it's just something which people were doing. I'm sure it was a great push by Apple. I'm sure Apple didn't mind everyone going out and buying Mac Minis, but it's really about the model you get. Now, I obviously will preface last video as well, or last stream, I should say. I'm running my own model locally on my PC, so the prompts aren't super fast or anything or super advanced, but again, it's free. That's the main thing. It's there's no subscription, but obviously the top of the line, Claude subscriptions. Make sure my mic wasn't muted then. The Claude subscription, $200, whatever you might want to get. The max plan. There's you can go do other things. We talked about it last stream as well. If you didn't go watch that, obviously, you can stay on the stream, but I would advise to watch that stream, whether you're on somewhere else or Binance Square. You can go back and watch that and then come back to this one. But obviously, we talked about where you can go get the provider, which is the important part. The important part is getting a good model with a high amount of tokens, because again, the OpenClaw does use up a lot of tokens. That's one of the kind of biggest drawbacks for OpenClaw. It has a lot of functionality, however, it does have a high token usage. I want to have this stream a bit more laid back. First stream was very kind of regimed. It was very I want it to be very structured for a start. This is going to be more of a test stream. It's not going to be something where I don't know what I'm talking about, but we're going to try and explore using OpenClaw for crypto and stuff, and kind of showing off what it can do on a basis, because last stream we ended just as we set it up, so I kind of want to go through how you set it up on Telegram, for example. That's the one I'm going to be using. What's the sort of process? We're going to go through the documentation, and that's hopefully the first half-ish of the stream, and then we're going to go into kind of testing it out and seeing what you can do with it, and also trying to relate it to crypto. And look on Claude Hub, Claude Skill, I can't remember what the website's called, but the place you go for these skills for crypto. I want to see what there is, especially with Binance as the main focus. I think the next stream after this one is going to be a full-on how to use OpenClaw for crypto. That is going to be the next one. This is a transitional stream for getting the basic setup in terms of Telegram, how to message it, how to kind of set it up on the background, and what you can do. I hopefully won't expose any keys or anything on my mind, but knowing me, I'm probably going to end up showing something back to them, but nonetheless, that is it. So I think we should get straight into it. Let me check the chat again. Say hello. I'm new to Binance. Welcome to Binance. It's a great place. I'm sure you'll love it. Anyways, let's just get onto it. Let me alt-tab quickly onto here. So again, I just had the main OpenClaw website up as the the landing page, if you will. So I think I should just get straight into it. Obviously, if you want to catch up really quickly, if you're watching this and you just so happen to have your virtual machine or your server open, you're just about to install Claude or OpenClaw as you're watching the stream. Again, run this command. The installation is really easy. Again, the last stream was more of the prerequisites. Obviously, we did go through. If I go back to here, actually, it's. Also, I am aware. I think the mic might pick up my keyboard quite a bit. I'll try and type not too loud. We obviously went through the requirements last time. We'll bring it up one more time as I'm talking about this. You don't need, again, this is a potential, you don't necessarily need this. You literally just need probably these three. And this obviously probably comes, I believe it comes pre-installed on most modern machines. Just install this and then obviously whatever package manager you're using, or if you're on Windows, whatever you might be using, just basically install it. Again, you can come to this website. It's got the Windows PowerShell, which already is pre-installed. If you've got a Windows server, whatever. Obviously, if you're on Linux and whatnot, you can literally just run this command. And we went through it last stream, like I said. The CLI is very, very simple, very quick, very simple. You can literally just go through it in, I think it was like 5 minutes it took, whatever it might have taken. Literally click yes through it, and then it's set up, and there you go. And obviously connect it to your AI. You probably won't be using a local model. I am obviously using Olama from my host machine, so I'm using it locally. I had to copy through the model setup. However, if you're using a externally supplied AI model like Claude, for example, it's even easier than it was last stream. You literally just put in your API key, and you pretty much set. Then it's really, really easy. So they do a very good job, and this is why I think OpenClaw got so big. Through social media and whatnot, because it was so easy to set up. A lot of AI, it's a bit cold. I can feel myself shivering, and my room's cold. Or not shivering, but I can feel myself speaking with a bit of a shiver. I do apologize. Anyways, I can understand why it blew up again. Like I was saying, a lot of AI sort of personal setup AI stuff, it's quite hard, right? It's for the average person, especially the people who have the loudest voices outside of programming and tech. It's AI stuff isn't really going to be in their forte. It's not going to be something you can set up quite easily. However, with stuff like OpenClaw, like I said, it is literally one command. You obviously get the downside, like we mentioned already last stream and in the intro. There is a lot of token usage. So like I said, I would urge to try your best to watch videos, watch these streams, whatever you may do to educate yourself outside of prompting your own AI model, because it will use a lot of tokens. OpenClaw uses a lot of tokens, so do make sure if you're testing commands. I spent like 15 minutes just now. OpenClaw recently updated, I believe, to change some of their config settings, and I had to make sure I had to change the configuration to make stuff work. And it was a lot of prompts, right? So just make sure, you're aware of the fact that it is high token usage, and it comes with a cost, if you will. Nonetheless, though, running that command, very, very simple. So, like I said, last thing we got up to with OpenClaw was the setup and the initial usage of it. I'm going to close this terminal interface because I was just testing out the execution. So we went over again. You just need Node. I can close this actually now as well. So I think I'll just move on to the actual setup. So you can use, like we talked about, you know what, I'll bring it back up. Just to show what you can use. Here we go. So yeah, it works for everything like it says. Slack, Signal, Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp. It's got so much integration. I think, again, another reason, we went through this last stream, another reason why this has been adopted so much is due to the fact that it has so many areas. I'm just moving my cable, apologize. It has so many areas you can access using OpenClaw, obviously. Now, the main one is WhatsApp, Telegram. I see people using, a lot of people use Telegram and WhatsApp. I don't really see too much Discord, to be fair, but again, mainly Telegram and WhatsApp. I have chosen to do Telegram. It's just easier to set up. You don't need to, access any numbers or whatnot. You don't need to. I think it's easier to do Telegram. I think it's probably the easiest one for OpenClaw, so that is something to mention as well. Now, I haven't gone through most of the integration for a lot of the tools like the map, the Twitter stuff. I'm literally just going to be focusing, like I said in the intro, this stream on the setup of Telegram, and then trying to use some basic commands to see what you can do related to crypto with OpenClaw. So we're just going to go through the setup of Telegram really quickly. So just going back to this page. So let me make sure I have the chat up just in case anyone says anything. And again, this is a live stream, obviously, you can see me on the screen. So if you've got questions or whatnot, and I can hopefully answer them, then I will try my best to answer them. So yeah, please do ask away. Anyways, so this is the documentation. Now, again, it makes my job very easy to talk about this because the OpenClaw documentation and the obviously the people behind, the person behind it and whatnot, their main goal was to make it as easy as possible to access as much as possible relating to AI and automation and whatnot. So this is a very easy documentation to go through. So quickly scrolling up, I will show you kind of the process of what I did. I'll hopefully not expose any API keys from myself, but whatnot. So it's literally, if you've ever been on Telegram and explored into setting up a bot or anything of the sort, you might be familiar with BotFarther. I don't think I have it up. I only have two things up, which is the Claude bot and OpenClaw, because it does have my API key from BotFarther. But all you have to do is go to @BotFarther. You can do a new chat on your Telegram app, top left, top right, depending if you're mobile or wherever you are, @BotFarther, and then it's very easy. You just run new bot, and then it will give you a API key in this big old blurb. Obviously, you have to name it and whatnot. You can name it whatever you want. I think I named mine VCDK Claude bot just because it wasn't taken or anything. You can name what you want. Again, it doesn't matter what you name it. It just matters the API key. So this is again, there's the different ways of doing config. So this might look like, okay, I don't know how to do this configuration. What am I looking at? How do I do this? Now it doesn't explain it too well, to be fair, in terms of, oh yeah, go here and here. I have skipped ahead a bit, to be fair, to go to Telegram, so maybe during get started, it might be easier. You can go to the CLI. There are some commands I will try to go to. You can see OpenClaw configure. There is a better one for that, though. I'm trying to see if I can find the commands page. Not slash commands. I don't want slash commands. They're not skills. There we go. If I scroll through here, I'll probably find it. I don't actually know where it's going to be. There's going to be OpenClaw commands. Where am I going to find this? There's so much on this. CLI commands. This might be it. Not quite. This isn't what I want either. God, the problem is there is so much documentation to go through. Maybe during install. I had it up actually. Maybe I can bring up my history. Maybe sale reference. I'm gonna find it. I promise. I promise. I'm gonna find it. Where? What? Yeah. Which URLs is gonna be? I need to find this desperately. Basically, it's got a list of all the commands you can run. There's commands you can use with the AI, and then there's commands you can use with the CLI, which is kind of the idea of trying to get at here. Which you can see there's some here, and there is supposed to be a full list of commands. It's maybe somewhere through here. No, this isn't. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, perfect. Finally, I'm here. Let's go to. Here we go. Perfect. Jeez. I wasn't very easy to get to. So this is what I want to get to, because now I can talk about it. It might be quite complex. You see, okay, I don't understand. We go back to it, for example. Where have I gone? Okay, channel, Telegram, let's go back to it quickly. Yeah, so you go to this, you go, okay, what is this? What am I setting up here? So there's a few ways you can go about configuring your OpenClaw setup, if you will. There's the way through the command line. You can go to configure or config. I mean, config, you can do it in a bit more of a easy way. Now, I think configure might have a way of doing it as well. I didn't do it through configure. I did it myself. I don't know if you can. Okay, yeah. So you can do. You might be able to do it through configure section, model and channels. Basically, the channels is where you can access it, Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord and whatnot. And then there's also the other way of, where have I gone now? Let's go to config. So this is another way as well. You can do config, set channels to Telegram token, for example. If you go back to here, so you can go, okay, cool. What do I need to do? These kind of pathways are the dots. So for example, you've got config set channels dot what it would be Telegram dot enable true. Channels Telegram bot token, the thing you got given by bot father, the end policy, this groups. You can go through that way through that CLI. It might take a bit. You have to copy a few commands and whatnot, but there is that methodology. There's also configure, which I think is a bit more of a more tailored approach to trying to set it up. I believe, yeah. So there's no, that's not. That's the auth. So I believe through that command, I haven't run it because I've already set it up, so I can't do it. There is the channel section you can set up where it'll take you through Telegram. It'll take you through adding your API key and whatnot. So that is something to remember as well if you want to do it that way. Now, the other way, which also is doable, now this is what I want to make sure I don't expose anything of myself, is you can go, now there's a lot of directories, and apologize for my lack of direction for it. Let me close that. I believe it's through communications and channels. Let's hope I don't show any things. Yeah. So I've only got one. I'm not going to scroll through this because it might show my API key. You can go to this URL, which is the main gateway. So when you run OpenClaw, it runs a process in the background. That will run this server. You can port forward and access this from, external devices. You can port forward and access for your server. This is just localhost. This is just on the machine. Sandbox. This isn't a thing you can access and you can hack me or anything. So you can just go to this IP or localhost :port. If you've never done anything with localhost, I think OpenClaw can open this itself. I don't know if there's like a status thing you can do, or if it'll restart anything if I run this. Let's wait for it. Okay, cool. So it'll show you this as well. If you just run OpenClaw Gateway, I think you can do status as well, OpenClaw status. It'll show you the same link. You can just copy this and put this in your URL bar, and it will take you to this website. You then go on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see this drop-down chat and whatnot. Scroll down to communications and channels. This is where you can then select Telegram. You can select your ID, your API, and whatnot. Now, one of the things which is important to remember, because I was setting this up yesterday to make sure it would work for the stream, and one of the things you have to do is pair it with this system. So it actually has it right here. The easiest way to actually configure this without having to do all that sort of stuff alongside all those things is its pairing system. So you can either configure it manually, or you can configure it with its pairing system, which is Telegram. You can obviously approve and whatnot. So for this, you'll have to, I believe you have to message Claude. I think you have to put your token in, which is obviously what we talked about up here, and then you have to message it through this system. You have to direct message your bot and start it, and then it will give you a prompt. I'm not going to show it, but if you go to ClawBot, so this is where it says /start. So this is the first message you have to send. It shows it down at the bottom of the screen, so it's fine. It's not something you have to figure out. There is a button which says start. You click it. I deleted the message because it had my ID and all that sort of stuff, but it had a drop down here with a code and an ID. You can then go to this command or go to your terminal, run this command with the code, and then this will set you up basically. You can then add it to a group and manage it through groups. You can direct message it. There's different methods. So, for example, for me, I have set up my own group, which is just called OpenClaw, so I have it a bit more personalized. And then, obviously, I'll have a little test message to make sure it worked. And every time you send a message through Telegram, and I assume potentially WhatsApp and whatnot, it will react to make sure it's kind of read it. So, and processing it. You will also see if we do hello, how are you, for example, you can see it shows its eyes, and then at the top of the screen we can see ClawBot is typing, so we know okay, the bot has recognized my message and it's in the group, and it's now also typing. So there is a bit of setup, and again, it can get a bit technical, but I will always urge you, if you are obviously stuck, and this is for general setup because I haven't gone through every single thing with ClawBot, is to always try and look through let me close that notification. Okay, well, there's the message. So we can see it's connected to Telegram. We can see it's recognizing my message. You can see it is connected through everything in the back end. So I will always strongly urge, if you are stuck with a setup point, is to try and find a command. So, for example, if we go back to well, it's gone now. I've clicked off it, but the CLI reference, here we go. So you go, okay, cool. Try and look through the commands. Try and look through onboarding or configure. Obviously, we now know configure is kind of the main process point, and also with gateway and pairing. So do read the documentation. Try and read every single part of it through here. Now, obviously, there's some. There are some policy things you do have to scroll through this. It's not super complex, but as long as you read the documentation in its fullness, it should hopefully be decently straightforward to set up. So, for example, there is policies with being able to message it directly or not message it directly, and obviously there's groups and whatnot. So, making sure you give your bot as much commands as possible. So, for example, another thing I did to make it as easy is just give the bot admin as well, just to make sure it had as much permissions as possible. So just try a few things. Again, if you add the bot to the group and it doesn't work immediately, try and give it admin in the group, because again, it's just a group, it doesn't matter. Also, make sure you enable all the group permissions. So, for example, I don't want to show it in case anything, but there is a okay, there's my code state. I'm not going to show this. There is, if you scroll down, a group area. You can put in the identification to allow the bot to message in that group. So there are a few things. Again, like I said, I haven't gone through it in its full entirety. If you go through the documentation, literally docs.openclaw.ai, search up Telegram, it will bring you to this page, and then you can look through, allow certain messaging to happen, allow certain things to occur, and it will bring you through it in a step-by-step process. So that is probably what I'd urge. And again, that's most things, especially with this in particular. This is set up to in a way where it's straightforward to set up as long as you read the instructions, read the manual. Again, there are some things, especially if the bot is or OpenClaw recently had an update and you've updated it. Sometimes the documentation might not be up to the latest standard. That is something to agree with. Again, look at Reddit. Reddit is a good place to go, I would say, or Stack Overflow. There are places to go for this sort of stuff, but for the most of the OpenClaw setup, just go to the documentation here. So, for example, if we're doing something later on at the halfway mark, trying to set up some sort of crypto thing, whether it be Binance connection and whatnot, if we have issue, again, that's a bit of a live setup thing going on, I will be coming to the documentation because that is what you have to do. So that's kind of the setup of Telegram, I believe, and then from there we can obviously see we are connected with ClawBot. So there are a few ways to access messaging with ClawBot. Again, the whole thing we've just talked about for the past 15 minutes, whether it's has been the setup through Telegram. Again, as well, through the control panel, through this little IP thing, it shows you through the gateway command. You can see there's a chat area. I'm not going to click it. I don't know what I've had chatting and whatnot. So this is me testing out, as we saw earlier on with the TUI. There's different kind of subcategories. So, for example, this was through the command line interface. If we go back to here, we can do try and type quietly so it's not too loud. If we go back to the terminal user interface, we can see it will appear with all these commands. If we scroll down, you can see the same messaging system. So with this kind of center on the website, this is kind of the master place to go. This is where you go to kind of have everything. You can see the overview of like what your URL is, tokens, whatever it may be, how it's going. This will obviously, these certain things will update. You can see my token usage is quite high. I've been testing a lot and whatnot, and again, I am running a local model, so this cost is 0. Again, if you are setting up with Anthropic and setting up your API key, this will update as Anthropic will report back with OpenClaw's control panel as to how much you've spent. So there is a panel here. You can scroll through and you can see the latest stuff Hopefully I don't show anything here. I don't think so. Maybe I have. I don't know. Whatever. It's if it has, I'm turning this machine off after I do the stream, so you can't really do anything anyway. So there's a lot of information here. So mostly of everything you will need to set up, it's either going to be in this website or on the documentation, or go to documentation. It will mostly all be on this website. So again, the channels, like I said, I've already got my setup for Telegram. Hopefully, I haven't shown anything. I don't think so. So I'm not going to scroll down because I can see that's where my thing's going to be. But that is where the channels are. So I don't know if you can add directly from here. I think you have to go to the configuration at the bottom with settings. But this will show you all the connections you have with OpenClaw. Instances as well. I don't think that's anything of importance. That's just my local IP. So I think this is okay. So again, this is just again, there's a lot of it gives you so much information. Some of it you might not need. Again, most of this, like instances, it doesn't really matter. Sessions, I don't know if anything's this. I think these are just numbers. I don't think this is anything to worry about. Every time I click a page, I just want to make sure I'm not showing anything I'm not supposed to be showing. But again, these are all the sessions as we saw earlier on. If we go back to chat, we can see there is also all the models you're running. So I have I'm just currently running the ChatGPT open source one. I believe it's 20 billion parameters. There's the GLM one. There's different models you can run. I'm currently running this one. It's not a super big model, but it's okay. It'll run it decently fine. And obviously we have all my different chats. So if we were to go to this OpenClaw group, so I have a testing one. I have the main one here. We can see we have the test message, got it, how are you here? So we can see this is the same messaging system. We can see we have the group on Telegram, we can see it's got the same representation on this control panel. So this is again, like I said, this is the place you go if you want to have setup or access for anything related to your bot. So for example, you could set up OpenClaw on your server and then never touch the server and just configure it directly from this website. So, you know, when I showed the command line and stuff like that, it's a bit more maybe it may be unnecessary for you. You can in your system have this set up, go to this website and completely do everything you need to do directly from this website, and it will work just fine. So that is something to point out. If we scroll down, I want to point out another thing, which is here. So this is the button. So we talked earlier about, I'll close this one I already have up now. I will go into active ClawBot usage in, you know, the next 4 minutes. I just want to show one last thing in terms of how do you access new skills. So we talked about the idea that ClawBot comes with a lot of integration already. However, you can extend upon this, and you can get it to extend itself. So one of the things I was testing, which I haven't fully done, was if I go to workspace, making it write its own script. So again, I was just making it make it basically a CLI tool to add two numbers. It was a very simple thing. It didn't, you know, it wasn't a superb like, oh yeah, generate me a new website and do all these sorts of things. You know, it wasn't a super thing, just a test. But what it's able to do, because it has so much access to your system. Now, again, we talked about this last stream. You've probably seen so many people talk about this on Twitter or X. You know, making sure you're sandboxed, making sure you have permissions. I've given it every permission under the sun. I've given it willy-nilly access to the system because I don't really care. I'm only running this for educational purposes. Maybe in a later stream, we'll go through proper security setup with OpenClaw. That might be quite good. Maybe next stream I'll do half security, half usage again, potentially. So there's a bit of excitement and there's a bit of education at the same time. So, you know, I've given it complete access, so it can access, it can write to files, it can read files, it can execute. That's the latest thing I was setting up here. So you can do, if you're in the terminal user interface, we can make it run. I've already done time. I just think what other commands there are. Actually, I don't know if that'll show anything. Well, let's test. Okay, cool. So we know this is the user. So if we go back to the terminal user interface again, we can make it run a command. And this is kind of this is a big setup. I actually will bring up a post. Let me find the Reddit post because there was a recent update, I believe. There we go. I don't know how to copy this. This is 17 days ago. I'm gonna have to type this in. I'm just gonna have to type the title and hope it comes up. I'm on a virtual machine now. I do apologize. I can't just copy it. I have to type it through. I think, yeah. So 17 days ago, there was a recent update. So this is something I will point out again. Burn this into your minds. You might need to do something like this. Again, you can go through the website and set up each and every one of these little things here. I was having some issues with execution policy. I was trying to set up like, oh yeah, can you basically run commands? It wasn't working for the longest time, and then I just basically copy this config in my config. So if we go to the actual config, and then go to tools here, we can see this is the same setup I have, which we have over here. We'll obviously have some other things as well, which are setups which are already done, like the search provider. But the main things are here. Don't know what happened to my accent then. Is you don't want to do profile full. Again, like I said, the way I have the system set up, I'm just giving it every command. I'm just giving it as much as possible because I don't care. I'm not using this on this machine. This is a educational machine. This is not what you want to do. Hopefully on next stream, latest stream, I will do this setup properly so you guys know what the actual setup is. And again, you can go look it up. You can go to this Reddit post and find this particular thing. So this would be the setup for if you wanted to give OpenClaw every single command, full access to your system, do whatever it wants to do. This is what you want to do. So again, full profile, allow everything, security, gives it everything. Don't make it ask you if it wants permission, just give it everything. And obviously from there, we can then allow it to access these sorts of things. So then it has access to writing files to the system, which is writing this Python script here, for example. So it can both write code and save it to the system, and then also run it, because again it has access and all sorts of stuff. So we can go to, if we go to exec, just to have a little test to who am I. Hopefully this works. Again, AI, hopefully it should work. If it doesn't work, again, we have a little bit of a problem to deal with. But again, we can see we've already tested it twice, so it should come through. Now again, sometimes with AI, now again, I'm running a model which is quite low in parameters. If you're running, if you're using online AI providers, okay, so we can see it work. You're running as the user at Fitzy. Let me know how I can help. So again, there you go, perfect. We can see just one command /execute. We can now tell it's gone on its back end, ran this command on the system, got the output of it, and then given it to us during the time of using it. So this allows for so much extension because it knows how to program itself, it knows how to run itself. So from there, it can just completely extend itself. And this is the same thing with the skills. This is what we talked about last stream, which is what I was getting to with this whole thing, which is we can allow it, we can ask it, can you do this for me, and then run it, and it can create its own skills, put it in its skills directory, and then you can refer back to this whenever you want, which is maybe what you've seen before. If you've ever looked at OpenClaw on Twitter and whatnot, you will have seen, hopefully, maybe, people post, oh yeah, I got OpenClaw to generate a text-to-speech system and then use it to order a pizza, let's say. And this is the way the system works. They prompt it, whether it be through the terminal interface, whether it be on their phone, through Telegram. You can ask it, oh yeah, can you run this thing? Now, I haven't actually tried to make it run the thing. Let me see if I can do it. I haven't actually made it run. Can you run the script in workspace directory and use the two numbers 20 and 50, let's say. I don't know if I actually haven't tested this. So let's see. This will be a live test. It might not work. We'll obviously go through it. But so this is kind of the system. You ask it to do these sorts of commands, run this code, generate a script which gets the price for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then you can make it recognize. I believe you can ask it to kind of save this into its skills. You can do, let's say you call the skill current crypto price, whatever, and then you can go into Telegram, wake up, current crypto price, and then it'll just go to that script, run it, and give you the output. So it's it's very rudimentary, and again, this is why people are liking this so much, because what it also has is something called cron jobs, which we slightly touched on last stream, but this is a very cool stuff. So this is really where the automation side of things come with OpenClaw. It can obviously do its own things if you ask it in terms of running its own commands, but it's not very autonomous. It's not very, I'm not saying cron jobs are autonomous, but it's not very self-reliant. It can't just do things. You have to prompt it and it gives you a response. But with cron jobs, you can ask it to, every Friday at 6 p.m, order me a pizza. And it will recognize your request is a cron job, and then it will set up its own new command where, okay, if the time of day is Friday at 6 p.m, run this command which orders a pizza. And this is where you can manage this through cron jobs. What a cron job is basically at a certain time or day, it will run something. It's very, very kind of bare bones explanation. But it can set its own cron jobs up. You can set a cron job up for it, and it can run its own AI commands. And this is kind of really where this is the backbone of the automation, which is at a time or day, do something. Now, I don't know if there's like an if this then that system where if something happens, do something else. But obviously, I believe with that, you would probably do that with a cron job, because at some point, to start a command, it just has to do it, right? It can't just randomly do it. I mean, I suppose maybe with cron jobs, you can do it any random time during the day. I'm not exactly too sure. So, for example, yeah, every 30 minutes days at... So, for example, you can do it at intervals. So, there's a few things. So, with this cron job, it's not just a command, it's an AI prompt, as we can see down here. So, you're asking it to do something. So, every 30 minutes, it could... I want you to get the latest prices for Bitcoin, and then send it me on Telegram. And then every 30 minutes, it will go ahead and run this cron job where it will get the Bitcoin price, and it'll go to Telegram and send you in the Telegram. So you can make a group, maybe you can make a channel on Telegram called Bitcoin price updater. It can at you, and then it can obviously run the command and then give you the output for Bitcoin. So this is kind of where the system starts to connect, where you've got cron jobs running, you've got execution allowance on your computer, it can generate code and run it itself. This is where the self-reliance comes for OpenClaw. And that's, like I said, I'm overgeneralizing here, but that's the bare bones basics of OpenClaw. It's the self-reliance of running its own code and giving you the output, and obviously the fact that it's got connections with your browser, it's got connections with Telegram, so that's kind of where it's at. It's got all these connections, and then you just give it all the permissions, and it can run code, generate things, do this sort of stuff. So, like I said, that's really where the loop comes from when it comes to OpenClaw. Let me look at the chat. I haven't looked at the chat in a long time. Let's see, Kishan, I see you. Shout out to you, Kishan. Thank you for being here. Danny's here as well. Thank you for being in the stream. Abcar, I'm watching from both barns in here. Thank you. A double dipper. I appreciate it. A double fan. That's double the thank yous for being on both streams. Oh yes. I'm not going to butcher any. You can hear my accent. I'm not going to butcher any enunciations, but happy. What's the name? Let me scroll up. Let me see if I can find it. Eid Mubarak. Yes. Shout out to you guys. Yes, I think that is the not the congratulation, but I think just saying it is the phrase. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys. Yeah. There we go. I'm trying to alt tab. Okay, perfect. We're back. I should probably check the result of the command. There we go. I'm actually very glad that ran because I haven't tested that yet. So we've got a script. So we can see, we've asked it. We haven't done slash. We've gone, can you run the script in the workspace? And then use the two numbers, right? So it's gone and we can go, okay, context clues. 2 inputs, which are the 2 numbers, script, workspace. So it's gone to the workspace. It's looked for 2 scripts because I've got 2 in there. I've got, if I do ls, I think if we do ls and then pipe it to grep, I think if we do that, yeah, perfect. So we can do that. So basically we can see, because I'm removing all these MD files. We can see we've got 2 scripts in here, both generated. I was testing earlier on with web fetching and stuff. So we've got a script.py, which is just the general script, and we've got fetch, which actually, if I show you what fetch is, we'll test this as well. I was just trying to test to see if we could do like reading plain HTML files, extracting text and giving a output. It was okay. I mean, it didn't really work. I was still testing it. I was still setting up OpenClaw. It wasn't too great, but we can see we've obviously got. That's not what I wanted to do. So apologize for the loud keyboard. There we go. So we've got 2 scripts in here. So it's known. So it now goes okay. So we want to use a script which has 2 inputs, which obviously, like we said, we saw with that with the 2 numbers. And then in the background, it recognizes it has to run this. So it's gone execute Python script.py. Very simple. We could probably go to the OpenClaw logs. I think it's follow, I believe. Yeah, okay. So if we wait for this, we might be able to see it run this. Maybe? Tail truncated. Oh. Is there a way to see this? Let's see. So 30. Okay, what is max bytes? I've actually never done this. Max bytes. What number is this? How do we extend that? What's the default? N. Let's just do like a lot. I don't know. I've done 2 spaces. Okay, it still works out loud. No, I haven't. There we go. Let's see. I don't know. I've never done this command. I've never had this issue. Okay, whatever. Well, we can't see it in the. Okay, I would like to have seen to see if it ran it, but I don't know if it's got a back end thing. But we have that. So that's the basics. So there we go. So we've shown off a script. We should actually generate something live, and we should do it through Telegram, so we can have the full on experience. So we can do a test of, and after I do this, we'll go on to crypto. So we'll go to actually related to crypto, because again, we are on Binance Square. We are talking about OpenClaw with crypto here. So, you know, I don't want to just you know, show off stuff. My head's in the way. I just realized. What I'll do then, I can do this, I guess. Is that in the way? Has my head been in the way for everything? No. Okay, good. Let me bring the Telegram back up on this. Okay, let me go back to my stream. Okay, that's not quite right. Let's do it here. No, that's not what I want to do. That might be okay. Okay, that's okay. That'll work for now. It'll go up anyway. It's fine. Actually, better yet, let's just make it. Hold on. Let's minimize this as well. Let's just make it a box like this. Okay, there we go. Now we'll work. Okay, perfect. You can see it. So what we want to do is we can add it and then basically go. What do we want to do? Let's do a script which multiplies two numbers. Can you generate me a inputs and then let's just do that. Let's prompt it to run this. Let's see. Because again, sometimes it understands. You've got to prompt it. Sometimes you know how it is with if you've ever done vibe coding or anything with AI and code. Sometimes you got to word it right. You've got to make no mistakes. My grandma's going to be very angry at you unless you do it correctly. You know, that sort of stuff. So you've got to finesse it a bit. But we'll see how it goes. Again, sometimes it works great. I mean, maybe I'm underestimating. Maybe it is perfect, and because I've not really had too many issues. So we can probably ls just to see if it's doing anything. It normally, I believe, it will always default to the workspace directory. So we'll do this really quickly, see if it works or not, and then we can go on to looking at crypto with. Where is it gone? Skills. Browse skills store. There we go. We can go to Claw Hub. We can have a little look in a second. Okay. Has it written it? Okay. Has it written it? Let's see. I don't know. Maybe I should have specified. Okay. Multiplied. Okay. Beautiful. Multiplied.ph. So it's given us the code of what it's supposed to do, and it's written it. So we can see. So here's the command, and then tweet the file name, add any extra validation you need. Okay, so it's basically it's automatically saved it because we told it, can you generate the script? And it's shown us what the code is. So it's taking the arguments. If the length of it is not equal 3, because the argv, it'll take in the actual file and then the 2, so it has to be 3. So if it's not 3, clearly there's something awry, and then obviously it tries to do the thing. So then we can do. Can you run the multiply script with the numbers? Let's do 10. Let's do 13 and 27. I don't know. Random numbers. And then obviously give it a time, because again, I'm using my own self-hosted AI on my own PC, so it's not going to be. If you got Claude, or if you went to Anthropic and got Claude or whatever, not Claude. Opus, there's different models, whatever it may be. Okay, let's see, has that actually run? I'm not convinced that's run the, I'm not convinced that, I have a feeling that's just the AI. But nonetheless, it's run something, it's given us the answer. I'm not convinced, I don't know. Let's go back to, hopefully the logs aren't going to be, I think there's a log file, so we can just go to log file in a second just to see. Right, okay, so it's talking about. So I feel like it's just. I think it's just run. Okay, let's see if we can just execute it through this terminal user interface really quickly. Okay, let's just see if it can recognize it first. Give me the contents of the. So let's see if it can find the file and recognize it. I don't know if I mean, again, maybe I think I need to tweak something in a second. Because like I said, 2 weeks ago, I showed you the Reddit. There was the update where it changed the way the functionality works with execute. So I think there might be a Telegram specific thing I've got to do. What is this up here? Update, whatever. Okay. Okay. I don't know, random numbers. Because it does do, oh no, int result. Okay, so it's not going to matter, basically. So it gets the float in case there is a floating point. Okay, so I think maybe I've got to do a setting somewhere with Telegram. Because we saw the logs, it potentially, oh no. This might be old, oh no, when did I message this? Okay, maybe I think there's something with Telegram I've got to do. That might be a me thing, to be fair. But nonetheless, though, we can just do it with the terminals. We'll just do it with this for now. And then maybe next stream, if I find out what it was, because I need to read the documentation again to make sure I've got it right. I'll show you if I make any changes. But we can see with the terminal interface. Nonetheless, though, we can see we have the script running perfectly fine. I don't know why. Hold on. Oh, right, of course. Okay. Because if we print out a float, which is actually a number, it's going to do 0.0. Okay, so it does do float. That's good. So we can see just then live. Again, I wasn't convinced of this, but we can see we've generated a script. Very simple, I know. We've generated a quick script which has saved to our workspace and has run the command and given us an output. We can see we've literally prompted it, make me a script which does this, and then we've obviously gone to basically talk to it and say, oh yeah, run the script, and then give the numbers. So we can see a very simple chain. I know it's a very simple, very simple example. We can see a very simple linear chain of ask for a script. It'll obviously then go save it like we saw. We can see multiply.py, we can see it's gone ahead and saved that for us, and then we can refer back to this. I believe, again, there's a way you can ask it to go, okay, save this as a skill, or save this as a thing, and then you can always refer back to, can you multiply these two numbers? And then you don't have to refer to the idea of, can you go to the multiply script, for example. But I do need to actually move on, because I've got about 15 minutes. I do want to move on to looking at integrating crypto or some sort of Binance related thing with OpenClaw. So if we go to we can go to Claw Hub now, and again, this isn't just for crypto or anything. This is a huge kind of repertoire of skills, which obviously is mandated or recommended from OpenClaw themselves, as we saw with the actual website. So we can see these some highlighted stuff just to see some high trust, cool, useful things we have here. So we can see X API, searching through X, answer overflow, and then these are some popular skills. These are some skills which are cool. So polymarket things. Okay, that's pretty cool actually. Yeah, so that's cool. Using OpenRouter. So they have, I believe OpenRouter, they have a cycling free AI model. This actually might be really cool to look at for you guys. I actually might use it myself, to be fair. This is basically with OpenRouter. They have, like I said, they have a cycling AI free system, as they have their continuous development system. They have a free AI they sometimes provide for a certain rate limit. So this actually might be good if you're looking into doing this as a test and do not want to spend a single bit of money. You can open up a virtual machine on a computer, or you can just run it directly on your computer if you wanted to do so. Obviously, I wouldn't advise that. And then you can probably use this actually to get some testing of it for completely free. And actually, it'll be better than what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is locally hosted. It's quite slow. It's not super fast. It's not very smart. No super smart either. This is, again, it's very bare bones version of what it is. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to ask it in itself. What is the best of... Not a script, a skill. I have a feeling it's probably throughout the skills here. Going to built-in, going to a skill. If we search, is this searching? Okay, this is searching what we've already installed. So again, we can see if we go to an actual skill. Let me actually go to something. Let's go. Let's just search crypto. Now again, we have to be safe. Where's the search? I'm stupid. Skills. There we go. Oh, we'll do Binance. So we have to, again, we do have to search trust with this not highlighted. Let's do like highest downloads, for example. So this one, I believe this box is the downloads. So to make sure we trust it, let's see. It has a self-running virus total scan as well. And it's got this OpenClaw own. It's AI, to be fair, so we have to take it with a pinch of salt. So it's got its own... So basically, it's basically warning you that that it uses API keys, which is obviously what we understand because it's for Binance. We need to use an API key to use Binance. It's got a spot trade. Let's see what's the trust in this. So this is quite high trust. So this will explain as well OpenClaw's own explanation as to what the skill actually does. So we can see what it actually does in terms of spot trading. So it requires obviously environment variables in terms of your Binance API key. Obviously LLM API key is going to be OpenClaw's API key, but we can see what it needs to use and run through a description from OpenClaw, which is very, very cool. Obviously, it's got its own virus total scan as well to see if there's anything weird going on. Now, like I said, it's AI, it can get things wrong. This has 6,500 downloads. It does say it's suspicious, but this is what's funny. Let me just read this. It says it doesn't actually need Binance API key. That's weird. What does it say it does? I suppose it does use. Does it not use? It does. It has Binance.json API key. So maybe the AI's got it wrong there. But obviously, on a base level, we can see with virus total, which is kind of it goes through a ton of different antivirus software to see if it see if it's kind of a virus or whatnot. So we actually have an AI breakdown from virus themselves, which basically says it uses the Binance API with an API key to prompt during it. We can see all the things it does throughout there, the Binance API URL endpoints, and see how it manages orders and whatnot. And I believe this should be again free to use, modify, and redistribute. So actually, if we download the zip, I want to see what it can do. Now, hopefully with Ubuntu, it's actually very easy to open a zip. Let's go. So we can see what it does and so actually it's just skill.md. Okay, right. So we have skill.md, which is an explanation of the skill. So we have two methodologies, again with scripts and whatnot, but we also have skills in terms of markdown files, which is basically like the way the brain and the processing of OpenClaw works. So actually we can go to our own, let's go to the terminal so it's a bit easier. I believe it's in memory, for example. There's another one which has, okay, that's not the wrong one, that's the right one then. I think it's in workspace, isn't it? I think it's just in the workspace, yeah. So we have this, which is, I don't like how it doesn't have it. There again. So this is one of the biggest things about OpenClaw as well, which I actually don't know if I mentioned in the first stream. The way their system works in terms of the way they remember who you are, the way they remember their systems, it's not some magic stuff. Obviously, it's got the SQL database, but the main system is with markdown files, and it's basically just telling the AI what it is. Because again, at the end of the day, it's just numbers. AI doesn't actually remember anything. It has to be told what to remember. So actually, I want to go to user. Hopefully, it doesn't show anything. Right. So this is like update it as you go. So I've never talked to it in terms of what I am. But what about tools? I don't want to show anything. But this is basically a whole breakdown of what it can do. This is a breakdown. This is comments. I don't think it's added anything. I've never had to make it add anything. I don't think. What about agents? So this is like the home. Right. Okay. So this is right. So it's got the memory folder, and then markdown files for every date for memory. Now again, I don't have it fully set up in terms of running everything autonomously, so I didn't have a lot of memory folders or anything like that. But again, if it's got its own tooling system, and if it recognizes it needs to remember something. Now this is obviously, like I said, where the most of the tokens go. It's not just some random, pitfall where it's just randomly using a bunch of tokens. The reason it uses so much tokens is the self-management of the AI in terms of it has to prompt itself if it has to remember something, right? So it goes through multiple prompts before it even gets to giving you an output, which is, do I need to save this? Is this important context? Where do I need to be right now? Do I need to be in this folder? So there's a lot of things going on all at the same time for the AI to have to generate over to understand what it needs to do. So that's why it's not just a simple in and out, you give it an ask, you give it an input, it gives you an output. There's so much more which goes into it, which is obviously the markdown files, which is, what does it do, right? So I think this is just literally just a breakdown of comments. I don't think this is really a much of a self-described system. So let's actually get out of here for now. I do want to go back to memory and see what. I don't think there is anything here, because I haven't made it do anything. There's identity. I don't know if it's. I actually never actually looked at if it's got done. Oh, these aren't things. I wanted to see if it's done anything. I don't think it has, but I wanted to see. Anyways, so that's what this skill is. So if we can actually open this up. Let me go to this directory quickly. Is this going to be an absolute path? Yeah, good. So we can see this is the skill setup. So this is how every skill, I imagine, it looks. I mean, sometimes I think the skill might have code and whatnot. So this is kind of describing the skill on the top end of things, which is where things should go. So this is, I imagine, these are still comments, I believe, actually. I don't know if this is exactly where the skill goes. So this is just, I guess, information. Yeah, so for example, it's got, this is rules for the AI itself. So always confirm with the user before executing, verify, and then obviously never use the basically, unless it's asked, don't use leverage above 10, stuff like that. So I believe the way the skill system works is through these comments where you can describe, oh yeah, view trade history, and it will go through and go to these sorts of commands and then run the code, which is down here, for example. So this is kind of how the skills work. It's literally just web requests to the API URL. I actually don't know what's in Meta. So just some information about the actual thing. So that's not too bad. So other than that though, let's actually go back out here. I'll go back to Telegram. There we go. So one of the things I wanted to wrap up with before I install some skills and show them off in the next stream. Let's see how much time I've got left. About 3 minutes. Before I show off some skills in the next stream, I wanted to kind of show off what could you do if you've just installed. Now, again, the whole stream has really been us going through, what sort of system could you go through in terms of Telegram or WhatsApp or Discord? How do you go about setting this up? Can you go through the terminal interface? And now kind of we'll wrap up with how can you use this right now? If you've just followed along with setup and getting Telegram working, or you've read documentation while I've been yapping, then and you've got it kind of messaging and you can actually communicate with the bots, what can you do? Well, you can actually ask it to do crypto breakdowns. So it's very good at understanding context. So it's not a thing where you have to write out a very specific command. You can, I'm saying this, doing this live, so it's AI at the same time. So let's hope it's going to give us the right response. But we can go ahead and ask it, can you give me a breakdown of crypto news in the last week? No, there are certain commands, and this is the thing, it can install its own commands as well. So another thing you could do, you can say, give me a breakdown, and then generate me a PDF file and send it here, for example. And this is something it can do. Again, this is why it's so cool, is because it can understand what you're saying, and it obviously has access to your full system, so it can go ahead and install an application and then run it and then input data into it and then get the output. So it's super extensible in that regard. I might try and do that now. Again, I'm not sure how well it would go, but that's kind of what I'll probably wrap up the stream with in terms of doing this. So we'll see how this prompt goes. If I don't have enough, security allowance, let's see what this is. Okay, I need an API key. Okay, let me do this through the terminal user interface. I did do this, unless it imagined it. Was it on this test? No, this is me trying to set up the execution. I believe I did. Maybe. Okay, let's just try the terminal. Are you able to get? Because again, it should. Oops. Okay, it should have access to kind of web requests and whatnot. And I did do this. I can't remember where again. You know what? Let me look at my Telegram on my own PC and see where I prompted this. And again, it could have dreamed this information, to be fair. Okay, so if this doesn't work, I've got the prompt which worked. I'm reading it now, but I don't know if this information is correct. Hopefully, it didn't dream this up. I don't think it dreamed it up. So we'll see how this goes. If this doesn't work, I'm just gonna do the same prompt and hopefully it works. If not, if worse comes to worse, I'll just scroll up to the previous message and show what the response looked like. What is this talking about now? Let me go back to it. Okay, so it can do so. So it needs an API. Okay. Web fetch. Okay, cool. Okay, run. Let me see what I literally just said check the latest news. Okay. Okay. So this is kind of roughly what I said earlier. So it can do it. I guess it just didn't understand what I asked it. Again, I'm running a 20 billion parameter models. A lot of models, they're within the hundreds of millions. Or not high-end hundreds of millions, but hundreds of millions of parameters. So it can understand a lot. Okay, there we go. So it gave me some stuff. So this is what I kind of saw earlier on. If I go back to that other group of the testing, hopefully I don't expose anything, and scroll up to the top, and then go to here. There we go. So check the latest news. So this is what it gave me on Telegram as well. I did have a breakdown here with a bit more, to be fair. But nonetheless, we do have the latest, quote unquote. Hopefully this is this correct information? I haven't checked it. But this is what I got earlier, to be fair. So hopefully. This isn't really the latest because this was quite a while ago. But whatever. It's trying at least. So this is apparently all from CoinDesk. Okay, so it must have gone to one URL, which is coindesk.com, and gone to the latest crypto. Actually, let's go check this and see if this is correct. So it should have a latest news section. Okay, latest crypto news. Right, so it literally this is what the breakdown was. Right, okay. So it doesn't understand what it's reading, basically, which is fine. Again, it depends how you prompt it. We actually don't have the web search API, but we've literally just got we've got this nonetheless. So it's got it didn't quite understand what this was. And again, this is a $20 billion parameter model, so I wouldn't expect it to understand too much. But this was strategy purchasing. Their purchases have reached 90,000 Bitcoin. So, but this is Bitcoin buy and surge. It doesn't mention strategy, but it does say 90,000 Bitcoin has been purchased. But nonetheless, obviously it then has the mention of Trump with paying $6 million to grab lunch with Donald Trump. So we can see that mentioned here as well. Obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried with trying to agree with the Iran strikes. And we can see that there as well. So we can see it does actually go to CoinDesk, for example, and grab the latest crypto news and give it in a parsed format. So one of the things I am going to try and see to add to this, can you... This is what I tried earlier and it didn't work because it needs to install a command. So this is just a quick test, but this is kind of the sort of thing you could do with crypto in terms of give me a breakdown of the latest news with... the crypto and whatnot. So there is this. Again, next stream, I am going to set up some skills and show them off. Because I can do this live, but I'd rather set it up not live. So if there's any issues, I can just fix it and show you how I fixed it, if there was a problem, and what you could expect from it. So I'll try this next stream probably, which, might be Thursday time and whatnot. Okay. Apparently it's made a PDF. I don't know. Let's go to, where's this? Okay, it's gonna have dot files. Let's go home. I can't see dot files. Can I manually do this? Okay, cool. And then what did it generate again? Workspace. Okay. So this is obviously workspace is the main area. So apparently we have a PDF. I don't know if this is. Okay. So it tried. Now what I will say, earlier on when I tried this, it asked for permission to download or install a command, which was like pandadoc or something. So it's tried to do it, but then it's got these weird characters here. But it has technically given a PDF. I'm sure with better prompting, because again, my prompts have been absolute bum. Can you generate a PDF of the information? So it's literally gone ahead and generated a PDF of the information. So we could probably ask it to make it look cooler, maybe add some colors and whatnot. But the very bare bones basics. It's gone ahead and gone to CoinDesk, got the latest crypto news from the latest crypto news section, and then we have technically it has given us a actual PDF of this information, which is decent. Again, next stream, like I said, I'm going to try and get some skills, whether it be crypto or not, show off some more crypto related OpenClaw integration, and show off some general cool skills which I have looked through. I'll also try and maybe give a bit more information on the security side of things, what you do and not want to do, because again, my setup is not the best example of trying to understand security of OpenClaw, because I've literally just given it everything and let it run loose. But that's pretty much it for my OpenClaw stream. I think it was a pretty good stream. We've gone through, to summarize, we've gone through how to set up with Telegram, how to make it work, how to make it work with groups, the commands to do so. Obviously, like I said, the main thing to do is just go to the documentation. You know, my description will never be as good as documentation. If you do have any troubles, documentation is where to go. If not, if there's nothing in documentation, like we had with the issue with execution and Reddit, then you can, or execution with commands, then you can also go to Reddit to see the latest information of OpenClaw as well. Obviously, also going through how to generate and run scripts, also how skills are kind of orchestrated for OpenClaw, and a little tiny test, of what you could do in terms of prompting for crypto news. So again, this isn't the most beautiful prompt in terms of showing off the most extreme skills of OpenClaw. My model is very low parameter and I don't have anything installed. So next stream, we're going to be trying to go through some cool skills and show off some actual crypto involvement with OpenClaw. So thank you so much for joining me on the stream. Appreciate you spending your time going through OpenClaw with me. While learning, we can follow each other. Exactly. So thank you. See you guys next year. I think I'm going to be streaming Monday for the actual charts. Wednesday, I don't think we have a stream Wednesday in terms of a quiz. I'll maybe try to do Thursday stream again, maybe Saturday in terms of OpenClaw. Last stream for OpenClaw was Thursday, but now we did it Saturday because I did the charts. So maybe it might be a Thursday, Saturday again. So maybe in a week or a few days, I'll do another OpenClaw stream. We'll try and go through some skills, go through some actual cool stuff, right? Because now it's mainly been set up and actually messaging it, but we'll try and go through some cool stuff. So hopefully that'll go well next stream. So if you do want to join that, obviously notifications and follow, turn those both of things. Click the follow, notify, all those things, and we should have that uploaded soon in preparation for the next stream. So thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for sticking around, and I'll see you next stream on Monday. Thank you so much, and goodbye.